Hey, Pepin.
Goo goo, gaga.
Oh, what are you, a little tyke?
Wah, wah.
Oh, it's crying little youngin.
See, okay, I'm trying to make a point right now. Babies can't do fucking shit. They are so fucking dumb. What the fuck is wrong with them?
Nate, I think we need to talk. Welcome back. So glad you guys could join us. My name's Meader. I'm here with Pepin.
Yo, yo.
And B.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about babies. Are they dumb? Now, Nate, you seem very passionate about this.
Well, it's like people will say, "Oh my god, my baby's so smart. It like did this thing," and it's like they're not doing calculus. Calm the heck down.
B, you seem to have a disgusted look on your face. Do you have an opposition to this?
Absolutely. I spend a lot of time with, had spent a lot of time with babies. My
I'm
nephews.
sitting right here.
Sorry. Yes, I disagree immensely. I spend a lot of time with babies, and they can control you. Just matter of moments. Just spend some time with them, and you can see the gears turning too. They're geniuses.
Babies can't even read.
Says the guy who was just playing Garden Warfare with babies.
They weren't babies. They were like 6 or 7 at least. They were still learning English. But, like, babies don't even know how to order a cheeseburger.
They don't need to. They can make other people do it for them.
Babies can't make me do shit.
So, okay, so my brother has a baby, and he's like less than a year old. And
Your brother's less than a year old and has a baby?
yes, and this baby can't do shit. Like everyone's like, "Oh my god, he's so cute! Look at him! Oh my god!" And he just looks like he doesn't know what's going on. He's like, "What the fuck is happening?" It's almost like he got sprung into reality. It's like, "What the fuck is this shit?" And you know, like he was a little amusing the last time I saw him because he had these toys and he was like banging on the toys, didn't really know what's going on. But what can he do? How is he useful?
I'm so mystified by this right now. So you're telling me that you've never seen babies give that, like, okay, has he ever given that look of like he's about to cry? And like maybe tears up a little bit and does the and like all of a sudden mommy or daddy or somebody comes over and just does something and magically everything's okay.
Well, I think that's the thing in psychology though, where like if a kid falls and no one's around, they probably won't cry.
They're going to be fine, right?
Yeah.
Because they look for reaction before they react because they don't know how to react.
The mother is like an imprinting of the reaction to the behavior. So the mother overreacts, the baby will start crying. If mother's kind of like, "Oh, hey, that's kind of funny," the baby will start laughing.
And it's always the mother that overreacts, right? Am I right?
Okay. Yeah, because my dad would just laugh at us. So now when like I fall or whatever, my first reaction is to giggle a little bit, but I was raised by my dad.
Oh, okay. Now it all makes sense.
Oh.
But part of the point you're trying to get at, I think, is that babies are very calculative in their crying or in their actions.
They are. I witnessed my youngest nephew, who was at the time maybe about 14 months old, and his oldest brother was 10 or 11. And Brian came downstairs, that's his brother's name, and was sitting on the couch in the seat that Mason wanted to sit in, which is my youngest nephew, Mason. And Brian, he came over to Brian, smiled, and was, paying attention to Brian. And Brian was on his phone, so he gave him a little attention, then stopped. And then Mason fell down. And when he fell down, he started crying because he wanted attention. I can't remember. Oh, my sister came in, his mother came in, and was just like, "What just happened?" And it blew up into this big deal between the oldest nephew and his mother. And so Brian got up out of the seat And immediately Mason stops. Brian goes upstairs and he starts, getting upset upstairs. And everything's all fine again because nobody's sitting in the seat that Mason wanted to be clear for anyone. It's just a wicked control thing. You can see it calculating in their brains. You can see it happening on their faces.
And how does that make them smart?
They sound just like really prissy teenage girls.
Wow.
I'm going to make you
all the attacks.
I'm going to make you do what I want you to do because I'm a little baby. Like, that's not smart. That's just jerk. Babies are jerks.
Okay. All right. I can't even right now.
So I think I'll support B a little bit in this because I have this theory, which is that babies, they're very calculative and they're crying because, like, on an evolutionary scale, they need to cry enough to get the mother to kind of take care of them. They also need to be cute enough to get the mother to take care of them, right? But if they cry too much, the mother's just gonna be like, okay, I'm done with this, and throw it in the river. So the calculation they're constantly making is, am I pulling the mother too much over the edge, or is this just enough to get everything I want and not everything I need to survive?
I think you're giving babies way too much credit. I think they're way more reactionary than that, and they're just acting on impulses.
Well,
and that's not intelligence. That's just nature.
They do test things, though. They will test.
So does a cat. That doesn't make a cat smart.
Cats are smart, too.
No, they're pretty dumb.
Oh, my God.
My cat sprinted at full speed because he was overwhelmed with all of this energy inside him and tried to jump, missed, smacked his head off the coffee table. And then he just, looks up at me, in a daze. I'm like, yeah, you're a fucking genius. You and a baby. Smartest ones I know.
Okay, and that's not really intelligence, though. That's just...
Now, if my cat started learning how to talk English, then I'd be impressed.
Your cat typed in to order boots, specific boots, on a website.
That's true, he did.
So don't even.
He was also a baby at that point, so maybe I'm coming around to this idea.
I would just like to point out that, okay, I'll concede your point that it's not intelligence per se, it's more like genetic learning, but that's the evolution of it. So babies are smart in that they're programmed to act a certain way, based off the environment.
Babies are programmed smart?
No, they're programmed to manipulate.
Exactly. So, you know how the saying is, once you have a baby, you won't sleep through the night. You won't get any more, good night's rest, right? Well, there's a study going on showing that babies will cry sometimes in the middle of the night just to stop mommy and daddy from possibly procreating again so that they're the only child with the only attention there. That's pretty manipulative, and that's pretty smart.
Oh, I don't know how much I can trust a study like that. That seems like a ridiculous study to me, but...
I think I saw that one as well, though.
Oh. Nate saw it. That means it's true.
No, I'm just saying. It's a thing.
The new study by the Inquirer.
I mean, especially with humans, though, because humans require, a lot of resources, so... most babies didn't survive back in the day, so
right.
If you were a baby, a human baby, you wanted all the resources you can get. Now, let's say there's a 4-year-old, okay, then probably it doesn't care much about the 4-year-old or whatever, but it really cares about things around its age. It requires the same amount of resources, the same amount of time.
Yeah, so I will amend my standpoint just a hair. I still think babies are smart, but I'm not going to say all babies. And I'm going to say right now, I think there's a level of intelligence there because they're able to say, well, I don't have to waste my time and my energy or do anything to get this, and this done. Okay, maybe they're not planning it that far in their head, but and to have someone else do it for them so they don't have to. So there has to be a level of intelligence, and also nowadays, there's no need for survival. Everything's there's a lot of comfortability for everyone, not just babies. So I feel like now maybe we're getting dumber.
I don't think we're getting dumber. I think we're getting smarter. I think that.
There are 2- and 3-year-olds who can run iPads.
Lazier. We're getting lazier.
No, just intelligent, more intelligent.
but we don't have the need for it. So, okay. So technological stuff. Yes, I agree. I agree. But like, there are people who, okay, maybe Pepin, you've experienced this, but like working, I've seen teenagers who don't know how to sweep or mop or do like basic things for themselves anymore that I know isn't like super high in the intellectual properties, if you will, but I feel like we're getting lazier and stupider in that sense of like more common everyday things.
All right, here's my hierarchy for intelligence. Lowest to highest. Millennials, babies, human adults, baby cats. That's definitive.
That's pretty rough.
Send that one to the printer. We'll need to get a millennial to teach us how to do that, though.
That's pretty funny. You're a millennial.
I think a lot of what we kind of see as this kind of laziness, or it definitely laziness. I think people are smarter nowadays. There's those studies with, I forget his name now, but the IQ guy who found that the IQs are getting greater and greater with time. I'll remember his name later. But,
someone tweet me his name.
Yeah. So I think a lot of it more is that we have things in our environment which make us more short-term focused. So our focus is always on our phone, waiting for our next message, or waiting for some kind of thing to ding, or waiting for this to happen, or waiting for that to happen. It's always in the short term, and I don't think people can really think about the long term. So people don't think about, say, learning how to sweep properly because they can't imagine that, being useful in the long term, say at a restaurant, the first job. And they think, when they're doing it, I'm not going to use this in my life. What's this useful for? Whereas, it could be useful in getting them a start in the workplace, say their next 2 years.
For all intents and purposes, is it useful? I mean, it's arguable that let's say, 100 years ago, or no, let's say at the birth of technology, right? So like knowing how to run a machine or work with a hammer, work with your hands was a huge asset. But as technology started to boom, as the 90s babies, the 80s babies started to grow up, it became less of a necessity. So they stopped learning how to do it. Our ancestors stopped learning how to hunt and gather as a majority, hunt and gather and things like that, because it stopped being what we needed to know how to do. So maybe you guys are focusing on old world skills that don't apply to today's growing youth who don't need to know how to do these things.
I mean, I would respond to that by saying, I think the overall skill that we're saying is deficient, at least I'm saying that is deficient, is the skill of learning new skills. So someone who is, someone at high school and they're not very capable, and they're not picking up this new skill, or any skill really, all they can really do is kind of text on their iPhone and stuff. Like, they're just not capable of learning new things. You show someone who needs to survive, something, and they'll probably learn it pretty quick. I assume if you take this high schooler and show them, put them into an extreme situation, they'll learn how to survive that extreme situation pretty quickly. So the fact that the environment is not providing any real kind of need to learn stuff and to adapt, they've just kind of, are settled in, and they have kind of not really used their ability to learn things.
Now, on the contrary to that, babies are embedded with the idea of learning is all that they do.
Right. From
the moment they're born, all they're doing is taking in all of this input and learning and learning and learning and learning from everything that they see, everyone that they see. And they're kind of the opposite of what you guys are describing here with the teenagers, the high schoolers, the newer generation, where you guys are saying that they don't have the skill to learn new things, or maybe it sounds more like you're saying they don't have the drive.
I think that's it. It's more of a desire, yeah.
To learn these new tasks because they're menial. What's the point of learning how to sweep? Like, that's such a low level job.
It's like for me, it's there's an internal drive, but I'm also saying there's no external motivation.
Yeah,
right. There's no external.
There.
There's no external factors pushing them to need to do that.
Yeah. Someone else just can do it for them.
But a baby inherently wants to learn. Does that make a baby smarter than a millennial?
Sadly, because I'm a millennial too.
And that's why I put them at the bottom of the hierarchy.
I think when I look at someone and everyone's like, oh, that person's smart, based off just like how they speak or whatever. For me, it's an experience thing. Well, I got to spend time with them, not just talk with them or do stuff with them. And that's when I say, okay, to me, this is going to sound kind of vain, but that's at that point where I kind of compare them to where I think I am intellectually. And then I go from there. Okay, they're smarter than me because they have the ability to learn and do things quicker than me even. And that's someone who's smart, in my opinion. Babies can pick up things a little bit quicker than me, I've noticed. And therefore, for me, they're geniuses.
Hashtag not all babies.
Yeah, I'm generalizing. Sorry. Yeah, not all babies.
This is kind of awkward.
So the hierarchy remains with millennials at the bottom and baby cats at the top.
Oh, baby cat.
They run the internet. They know how to order boots.
It's true. Stylish boots. They were really, really high end.
They were brand name. They were fashionable, and they were very, very specific.
They were reasonably priced too. And it wasn't Steven.
Finding deals.
Like he was just cutting edge. I can't remember how it happened, but it was like you were in your room or whatever. And then didn't you ask him what he wanted or something?
No.
Oh, I thought you asked him a question and he was like on the keyboard.
No, I stepped out of the room and he jumped up on the computer.
That's
and
that's what it was.
Typed in what he wanted. And
Yeah.
It was some furry boots, stylish, affordable, and they would have worked pretty well for the wintertime.
Yeah, classy.
I have no input on this big story here.
So are babies intelligent, Nathan?
No.
Yes.
B?
Yes.
I think babies are intelligent when they're cats.
No. Yes.
Write to us. Let us know what you think. Are babies intelligent? Are babies smart? WNTT1 on Twitter. We Need to Talk Show on Facebook. Or you can always get at me personally at Meader on Twitter.
Or at Nathan Pepin on Twitter as well, yeah.
NATHANPEPIN. And Meader is MEADER. You guys, hit us up. We need to talk. Welcome back. So glad you guys could join us. Our topic today is babies. Speaking of which, let's plug one of our...
Yiddish.